I discovered ballet when my parents sent 3 of us to be part of my sister's production of Nutcracker with the classical ballet studio. So we were sent to the studio Ottawa on Rideau Street, very close to the Parliament building. And it's hard to believe that when I was 10 years old, my mom would send me on the bus to go to Ottawa, which is a good half hour by bus, but with absolutely no concern that for my safety. I'm not sure I would do that today for my kids, you know, to send them from River Heights to downtown the same way, but in those days it was normal. It was exciting. It was a little nerve-wracking because it was with a bunch of people that were English. There was just the 3 of us that were French-speaking, so we could speak amongst ourselves, of course, but it was a little overwhelming as an experience. But I continued with ballet for a while. Then I went into gymnastics. Then I came back to ballet when I was around 17. I was at the University of Ottawa in kinesiology, but something in me made me want to do ballet again. Something was missing for me, and I think it was that artistic perspective. And I think that's where I got a sense, oh, I would like to go back to it. So I took a class, and I felt comfortable. I said, I want to do this more. In 1975, 4 of us came by train to the summer school for the Royal Winnipeg Ballet, and I had a great time. I stuck it out, and I was fortunately given a scholarship to continue my training. I did 4 years of training in the school. I joined the company in 1979. I was offered a position, and I took it. I mean, the Royal Winnipeg Ballet is a premier organization in the country and in the world. And I felt proud to be accepted. And then I was very fortunate to get many wonderful roles. We primarily programmed shorter works. Other than Nutcracker, we had no other full lengths. But in 78, 79, I joined. I did this ballet called The Hands of Patty Stones, a former Winnipegger. It was wonderful for me. I got to do one of the lead parts in it. Because I had done it in the school as part of what we were doing. We did works such as Rodeo, Pulcinella, Variations. So a series of really good works that I found really exciting to perform. My second year in the company, we brought Romeo and Juliet to Ottawa, and both my parents came. And it was very touching. They were so worried when I left, because I kind of left through the back door without really telling them, because they really wanted me to finish my kinesiology degree. So I kind of left under dark clouds, but when I got into company and everything worked out, they were super happy. But the RWB became my family. I mean, I had a support system here. My connection with David Moroney was an important one. He was my director in the school. He taught me. My roommate, Gérard Théoret, was also an important part of my social standing, if you will. Obviously, in those days, we didn't have cell phone, we didn't have social media, but yeah, you build a social status, and there was lots of wonderful people with me. We trained together. I remember Georgia Kerr, I remember Julie Whitaker, I remember Valerie Ford, all of those people that went into the company, some of them before me, some of them with me, and some of them after me. But so RWB is a very close-knit community. Evelyn Hart was one of the dancers who had joined prior to me, but in the company I ended up fairly quickly working with Evelyn. She had asked Arnold Spohr in a ballet called Our Waltz if I could do the part with her, which was the lead part, which required quite significant skills of partnering and dancing. Evelyn, of course, also danced worldwide. She danced with the National Ballet of Canada. She danced in Munich. She did guest engagements everywhere with me and with other partners. I became part of the artistic staff and continued dancing in 1986, I believe, or thereabout. So I did dual responsibility. I was associate artistic director, which was difficult on many levels because I was continuing to dance, but I also had authority over my fellow dancers. It taught me a great deal about how to approach the way I work with my fellow artists, and which I carried on when I became artistic director myself. My primary task was to organize daily activities and to take some of the rehearsal, because of course I knew the repertoire quite well and I could insert myself into the rehearsal process quite easily. And then I stopped dancing because I felt I could only dance so much more, but I could accomplish much more as an artistic director. In the fall of 1995, I became interim artistic director, and I think by March of '96, they confirmed my appointment as permanent. There's a funny story about this because 3 times the job came open. Twice I applied for it. I didn't get it. The 3rd time I did not apply for it, but I got the job. I certainly wanted to revive the artistic choices we were doing. We were going in a direction that I felt was too contemporary for the RWB. I wanted to bring in full-length works. One of my first full lengths was Dracula, which was a huge success for the organization. We brought in a Nutcracker that was more classically driven, that was more following the story that was done in St. Petersburg. But it is set in Winnipeg at the turn of the last century, but it certainly very much derived the snow scene and Act 2 from the traditional version. One of the best moments I had, interestingly, I think it was in 1999 when we opened Nutcracker in Ottawa, and we were opening it. It was the first time we were performing it, and nothing was going well until the very last dress rehearsal. Suddenly everything fell into place correctly. And it was such an incredible moment for all of us, but for me especially, because it's never easy to debut a performance outside of Winnipeg. Winnipeg, you have systems in place that allows you to make it happen, and you're super comfortable then. But on tour, it's much more intense, much more difficult. But we made it, and so that's one of the great moments. I ended up also, of course, I married Caroline Gruber, a former dancer, in the year 2000. Well, she was a dancer in the company at the time. I was the artistic director, which made for all kinds of complicated situations, but Caroline and I wanted to be together. We were very cool about it and very organized, and 23 years later, we have 2 wonderful children. It's complicated because we toured a lot in those days, and sometimes I was away for 2 months on international tours. So those are sacrifices that I did not see my children grow up as much as I would have liked to. But it's impossible to reconcile completely family life and career as an artistic director. There are so many things that need to happen that if you do not do it, the whole place comes to a grinding halt. We invested significantly in new creation, like we did a Cinderella story. We also did Nutcracker, of course. We did Sleeping Beauty. We did Going Home, Star, Truth and Reconciliation. We did Peter Pan. We did Moulin Rouge, and a series of other works that we have put together over the years. And that has made a difference for the RWB. And I wanted to invest in contemporary full lengths that are still based on our classical heritage rather than a very, very contemporary. And a part of me is also about watching our school, because I'm responsible for the school and the company. I'm not the company's artistic director, I'm the RWB's artistic director. And making sure that the school is as well supported as we can is really important to me and means a lot that we are able to. And having a professional division and a recreational division demands a lot of effort, a lot of commitment. Not that I'm involved in the day-to-day operations of either division, but it is an important aspect of the RWB, and it's all the three being healthy that makes the RWB project possible. You usually want to go on your terms. May of 2025 will be my stepping down. I'm very at peace with this. It's not so, second thoughts, I go to the board, so can I stay for another year? I certainly don't want to do that. I'm just grateful for what I have had all these 49 years here at the RWB. And I'm thankful that I had a wife who was part of the world of ballet, who is part of the world of ballet, that understood this, and children that also understood this, that love me despite the fact that I was gone several months out of the year. But I know it created something for them at the same time. It influenced them. I see it in both Emily and Daniel, and I'm proud of what they're accomplishing. It's been an incredible experience for me, and I'm just grateful that it worked for me. I was in sync with it. I was able to grow with it. I was able to go from students to company member to artistic staff to associate artistic director to artistic director to artistic director and CEO, and mature with it and have a fantastic experience in the way. And it's not to say that every day was a rosy day, it was simple. There was a lot of time where, we weren't sure we were going to make it, we were going to balance our budget or not, or what can we do to cut this but still provide the best experience for our audience, our donors, our students, and our company members, because the company members are very important in this equation. I'm just grateful that I was able to work with this and to grow in it and have this incredible career and time at the RWB.